And we are bringing our focus back to the big development that's happened in the Kolkata doctor rape and murder case. The Calcutta High Court, for the second time this week, has come up with some choice words for the Mamata Banerjee government, referring to what happened at RGKar Hospital on the early morning of the 15th of August, which is Independence Day yesterday. The Calcutta High Court has called it an absolute failure of the state machinery. She has also said that 7,000 people gathered and could run riot. What were the cops doing and how did they have no intelligence to try and prevent it? The Calcutta High Court has also come out and said it's better to shut down RGKar Medical Hospital given the state of affairs and the vandalism that has happened, and even said that the hospital should be shut down and patients should be shifted as well. An important allegation that was being made at this point was that the crime scene is still safe, even though the ground floor, which was the emergency ward of the same building, was vandalized by the mob. The High Court has asked the government to prove its claim that the crime scene is still intact and it has not been compromised. And also, perhaps more importantly, the CBI has also been asked to now probe the RGKar attack, in addition to the core crime that was, of course, of the rape and murder of the 31-year-old postgraduate trainee. Let's go across to my other guests who are joining me at this point. To discuss this important issue, we have been joined by Dr. Avra Sen, spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson of the Congress, and Dr. Sharad Kumar Agarwal, who is the outgoing national president of the IMA. Remember, the IMA, of course, has gone in for a nationwide strike from tomorrow 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on Sunday. Let me come across. It's also important to explain it to our viewers that we did try to reach out to the Trinamool Congress, which is at par at the state of West Bengal, but they have decided to completely rehaul their press team, and as a result, they're not speaking to anyone from the media. And we'll get a reaction from them as soon as they decide to address the media once again. Let me start with Dr. Pooja Tripathi. Dr. Tripathi, unfortunately, the Trinamool Congress is not present here. But does this not put the Congress party in a very awkward light? Yes, I know that Rahul Gandhi finally came out a couple of days ago and has made his objection very clear to what's happening in Kolkata. But this does break the foundation of the India bloc as an ideological alliance which is opposed to the BJP, given that from the way I see it, the India bloc, or at least Trinamool Congress, has no grounds to blame the BJP anymore, given the absolute mishandling and the absolute sham that we have seen in Kolkata in the last week.
I think let's be clear, Ritangshu, any political alliance, women's safety, the matter of women's safety and dignity of women is much above any political alliance. And what Mr. Gandhi has come out, what Mr. Gandhi has said is he has demanded harshest punishment, standing by standing by the doctor, the lady doctor in question here, who has been the brutal details of the cases have been mind numbing. You know, she took a nap after a 36-hour shift and she went to sleep and she was raped, gang raped. Even this thing is not clear. When women came out on the streets reclaiming their nights, reclaiming the safety of their nights, some thousands of protesters rammed them. They disrupted the whole peaceful movement, which was not called by a political party, which was called by the women of Calcutta, and it was joined by women all across the nation. I think this goes beyond saying that the police, the local administration, the hospital administration, everyone has a hand in glove. And this needs to be addressed. Today, doctors are out on streets. My fellow doctor may tell you, I'm a doctor too. Today, doctors are out on streets because not only justice has been denied in this case from day one, but also there's a bigger question of safety and legal and institutional mechanisms. There's a bigger question looming across the doctors, all the healthcare personnel, including doctors, nurses. Today, a nurse was gang raped in Uttarakhand while she was coming back from duty yesterday. And that, it goes on to say that we are celebrating 78th Independence Day, and a woman, where she was to be considered the safest in her after home was her workplace. She's brutally gang raped. Her mouth was throttled. Her neck bone has been broken. There have been marks on her genitalia. There's been marks on her thighs, arms, stomach, everywhere, and she was bleeding everywhere. Her family came out with the gruesome details that when they found the body, the legs were at 90 degrees, and I don't want to repeat that. So I think this goes on to say that accountability needs to be fixed. Who came and disrupted the whole peaceful protest? What is the status of the the investigation? When will justice
To
be
point out, Dr.
given to
Tripathi,
the
as to who came and disturbed the peaceful protest, because right now, Dr. Tripathi and my other guests, I request your patience for the next 5 to 7 minutes, because I'm also being joined by someone who did initiate this peaceful protest to begin with, the protest which at the end of the day, now the night, had taken a completely different contour. Rimjhim Sinha, the woman who really took the initiative of Reclaim the Night, the significant and a historic protest that, as we see on our screens, happened on the early morning, in fact, on midnight, at stroke of midnight on India's independence at this point. Rimjhim, did you honestly anticipate the violent contours that this protest will take? I'll draw the distinction. I'm sure that the protest march which you organized along with your comrades is not the same mob which laid siege to Ajika Medical College and Hospital. But do you feel that there was a conspiracy to take cover of this mass mobilization of people that Kolkata saw last morning and use that as an excuse to try and lay siege to the Ajikar Medical College and Hospital and perhaps even disturb or disrupt the investigation?
Yes, I think right after the post became viral and a lot of women actually participated, spontaneously came out, gave calls in their own location, and resonated with the call. They all wanted to express their anger, express their despair that they have been feeling, they have been compelled to feel for years and years to this date. I think they saw this as an opportunity and they took it. They wanted to come out with their feelings, they wanted change, and they did not want to see these cases coming out into the news every day or every minute if we go by the statistics. I had anticipated that a lot of people would be joining in because I had been receiving a lot of calls, a lot of comments on the post that were being shared, and a lot of other people who resonated also had a lot of posts being shared by their own profiles. So I, even in the place that I was stationed, I had continuously requested the police officials to take care. But I think somewhere the police officials weren't exactly present. It is absolutely the responsibility of the police because they've been trained to handle crowd. They've been trained to handle people who gather in protest. And I think there has been a breach in that. There has been not enough police men who were supposed to be guarding, who were supposed to be taking the responsibility of law and order. In this situation, it seems like right after the posts were being circulated, I had been attacked. This post was being trying to be like a conspiracy of any opposition. It's conspiracy of another party which is not in power. Conspiracy of a party which is not in power. But I think this somewhere was planned. This somewhere might have been coincidental, but this has definitely got to do with the responsibility of the police officials who weren't exactly doing the work they've been trained.
So, Rimjhim, I need to understand a couple of things, and if you could shed light on this for our viewers here. You were saying that when you saw this protest going on, you had already noticed that the police presence was not enough to possibly contain this crowd which had hit the streets in Kolkata. Am I right in understanding you there?
What I wanted to convey is that there was not enough police presence, which is required for a crowd of minimum 10,000 people. If I talk about the crowd that was visible from the place I was standing in. I have seen a lot of protest marches, a lot of protest rallies organized by political parties in my own city and all over India. And the kind of police protection that they receive, the kind of police vans that stay alert during that situation, I did not see myself that so many police vans were alert and present at the situation to carry out the responsibility of looking into the law and order situation for 10,000 people. That was something that I am really disappointed about.
Quite a damning statement coming in, Rimjhim. The other allegation which we have heard from the state government and the local administration since is that this protest was infiltrated by members of the opposition party. They have specifically highlighted the left and the BJP, and they say that it was these volunteers or these cadre members who hijacked the protest, made it violent, and then laid siege to Arjikar Medical College and Hospital. Can you confirm or deny whether you saw the presence of any outsiders or any political presence as part of your protest, which then could have turned violent?
I can say that it is not possible for me to confirm or deny that if there were people
Okay.
present who represent political parties, because in the mass of 10,000 people, I did not have the opportunity to look at every face and understand if I know someone who belongs to a political party. In the gathering that was in front of me, I did not see any flags from the known political parties of the parliament, and without the flags, it is very impossible to identify who was present there and who was not. I think it's the job of the police, it's the job of the investigation department to understand who led the rallies on to this. But I think that a lot of people would want to color this rally to their own benefit, not acknowledging the spontaneous participation of common people. But I think the spontaneous participation is way more powerful, way more eligible to make a statement than any other political party could ever do. We have always seen them hijacking common people's movement, trying to claim it for themselves. But I think this time the common people will take a stand and talk about themselves through their own language.
Rimjhim, isn't that unfortunate, Rimjhim? Do you feel that it's unfortunate that what was a spontaneous protest and a very empowering movement for women was very cannily hijacked, not just for a political objective, but also for something far more sinister, as we ended up seeing a few hours later?
Absolutely. It is unfortunate that the violence happened. It is unfortunate that we did not even have one night to ourselves when women and other marginalized gender communities wanted to take one night, wanted to spend one night without fear. We are still in fear because these kind of violent eruptions took place on the same night. And I think this all the more suggests that how unsafe our country or our city has been and how valid these demands are. And I think every political party somewhere is trying to appropriate the language of the common people, appropriate it to their own benefit. And this appropriation needs to stop immediately.
My final question to you, Rimjhim, is what is your response to where the case or the investigation stands at this point? As I speak to you, the Calcutta High Court has just transferred the investigation of the violence at Arjikar Hospital to the CBI as well. Do you feel slightly reassured that the CBI is now probing both the main incident, the horrific crime that happened, and the aftermath as well, given the fact that there have been allegations that the local administration and the local police has tried to cover up the tracks from day one?
Yes, I think I have to depend on the police and on the CBI and expect an impartial investigation onto this matter. They have been trained for it. They are ably working on it, and I really think that all the common people who have come out and talked in favor of achieving justice would have enough pressure from the common people for also, investigating it impartially, understanding whoever has been involved, whoever has been spreading misinformation about the person who's been the victim of this incident. And other than that, I think justice to justice and case to case, this has been happening, but there needs to be changes from the root. There needs to be structural changes that need to be brought up. There needs to be gender equality as a topic in every school curriculum. There needs to be transport services in the night which are safe and secure. There needs to be restrooms in places which employ people for night duties. Let that be corporate, let that be for the doctors. And there needs to be creche facilities in every place, every workplace which employs women. I think these kind of structural changes would actually ensure that we move forward to making a better society where the cases lessen in frequency, where we do not really have to weep every time we see the TV network.
All right, Rimjhim, thanks a lot for joining us with your views and perspectives as well. Let me go back to my other guest joining us, Dr. Avra Sen, spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you so much for having waited patiently while I come to you. You heard one of the key founders and one of the key proponents of the movement which turned violent last morning, unfortunately, say that every political party is trying to appropriate what has been a spontaneous people-led movement to try and achieve political goals. Do you feel the BJP has also been doing that? Because as we speak, we have seen protests from Shambaja Junction. We are seeing protests which are being planned at 2 o'clock to the Chief Minister's residence as well.
See, BJP was the party which approached the High Court for CBI probe. There were other people as well, but we had approached the High Court. Even after this heinous attack on Arjikar Hospital, we went to the High Court and seek their attention on the thing. When it comes to the question of appropriation, I would say not at all. BJP is not appropriating anything in this case. This is a spontaneous reaction, spontaneous outrage of the common people of Bengal and the country at large. They are outraged by the incident that has happened to this on-duty doctor at the Arjikar hospital. But yes, BJP as an opposition party, BJP as a responsible political organization has taken on the roads, and we are protesting against what has happened and actions of the police and TMC government as well. Now, coming back to what has happened on Arjikar that night, I'd like to shed light on a few things. The Kolkata Police in their official Facebook handle have already posted that there was a mob of 5,000 to 7,000 people. But on the contrary, when they have posted pictures about identifying the perpetrators, they have only identified 30 to 35 people who were ransacking the entire place. The visuals which are being played right now on the screen of Mirror now is actually showing how the Dharna Manch of the protesting doctors was being rampaged. Now, take into context this. BJP or any other political party or apolitical people who came out on the streets that night are supporting this mass agitation by the doctors. We are all speaking against rape and we are speaking for justice. Any person who is for the cause would not engage in rampaging the Dharna Manch of the doctors. But in this case, the hospital was rampaged, the Dharna Manch was rampaged. It is clear that the Kolkata police allowed this rampaging to happen. Because I'll tell you one thing categorically. There were 150 to 200 policemen and RAF personnel present at the hospital that night when the incident happened. They allowed this to happen for 30 long minutes. These goons were allowed to go on this rampage, this hooliganism for 30 long minutes. The entire emergency ward was demolished, as you are showing on the screen right now. Where was the police? We are getting to know from journalists who were on the spot and from people who were there and doctors of Arjikar that the police hid inside the washrooms. They hid inside the gynecology department. And they were asking for civil dresses from the resident doctors so that they can hide from these goons. Is it believable, Mr. Ritangshu, that 150 to 200 police personnel were not in a position to stop this rampage, which was done by 35 to 40 people at max? And another question, if there was actually a mob of 5,000 to 7,000 people, where was the intelligence branch of state police? They had no intel input. And I'll tell one more thing.
I completely agree with you.
Just give me 10 more seconds. They have till now...
I agree with you, Dr. Avra Sen. You have raised points which are
just give me 10 more seconds.
Very pertinent.
Please 10 more seconds. Please 10 more seconds.
Yeah,
just
go on.
10 more seconds. The police till the point the High Court handed over this particular investigation of rampaging Arjikar to the CBI. Up to this point, the Kolkata police had arrested only 19, and that too after getting inputs from BJP and other normal citizens who are apolitical citizens on social media. They could only arrest 19 people. So if I am to take this for granted and take this for the real thing that 5,000 to 7,000 people were there attacking the hospital, at this rate, the Kolkata police would have taken over 2 years to identify everyone and arrest them. Is this a joke? First, a gang rape occurs, and then the police is hand in glove with the culprits to put everything under the cover.
Yes,
and then this,
I'll tell you what.
How long would
okay, Dr. Avra Sen, you had asked for 10 seconds. I've given your time. I I have another guest I need to go to. But yes, I agree with all the points you've made, Dr. Avra Sen. My only question is, it's not just in Kolkata. We saw a similar incident happen a few years ago at JNU. We saw people of the ABVP being unmasked and they've still not been traced in so many years. At least 19 people have been arrested in this case in Kolkata Police. Not by any stretch of imagination giving a clean sheet to the Kolkata Police. They have a press conference at 2:30 p.m. I wonder how they're going to give it, try and defend their actions. Dr. Sharat Kumar Agarwal, I'll come to you first. As we speak, the IMA has decided to go on a 24-hour protest from 6 a.m. tomorrow to 6 a.m. on Sunday. If the angst is over what has happened in Kolkata, why is there a nationwide strike is the question a lot of us are asking, because given the fact what's happened in Kolkata, there's a CBI now probing both the attack and the crime as well. Is the IMF believing that there's much more to it and there's a systemic problem that needs to be addressed by all political parties, including the BJP and the Congress?
See, I think the entire scenario now going on a wrong track. The basic point nobody is discussing.
Okay.
We are IMA and medical fraternity not interested which party to be blamed. The political party, they are playing their own game. They are fixing their score. Is they have any courage to say what they are going to do for the safety of the doctors and healthcare worker on the workplace? Why can't they say openly that yes, we will make a strict rule, act against the violence on the doctors and healthcare workers? Why can't they say, see, there are two solutions. One is immediate, that has to be, the culprit should be, caught and given the fast track court punishment. The second, which is very important, to avoid the recurrence of the same incidents, because violence is very common in India. Every day there is some violence on the doctor. Last year this was happened with the young doctor Vandana Das in Kerala. Now it is in Calcutta, and we don't know where it can go again. So the solution of the problem is the central act against violence on the doctor with the strict sections of the criminal part of the BNS. Otherwise, it will keep on doing. We keep on fighting. We just doing the knee-jerk reactions whenever there are unfortunate incidents happening. See, how can the local government and the central government be insensitive that they are not able to take the action? They are not able to make the constitution. They are not able to make the act. We are demanding, and that is why we are protesting. We understand our responsibility. That is why we are not sitting on the road and not calling a strike for the infinite time. We are only doing a strike for one day, and we are not stopping any emergency services. Just to tell the government that if they don't listen us, we will be forced to do a certain corrective actions.
Okay.
So
well, Dr. Agarwal, we get the concerns of our doctors as well. But very respectfully, may I just say that as my concluding remarks, this issue is now has gone beyond just the safety of doctors. This is about the safety of all women. I'm very happy that I was joined on this panel by my political guests who were also doctors, Dr. Avra Sen and Dr. Pooja Tripathi, and we all, I think, agree on the fact that our doctors who spend their entire lives training to try and keep us safe also deserve to be kept safe. But what we are seeing in Kolkata right now is more than just an issue of doctors being targeted. We are seeing a systemic collusion of the state to try and protect people and to try and destroy evidence. And it is now incumbent on all the allies as well as the opposition to try and bring the state government to task. On that note, I'm going to head in for a short break. Thank you so much, Dr. Avra Sen, Dr. Pooja Tripathi, and Dr. Agarwal for joining us.